You're fired. Years ago, I had a thankless labor/service job with a pretty unappreciative boss, got lots of stories. One morning I roll into the office about 7:25, and get a dirty look from the boss as I head to the dispatcher's office to collect my day's work, supposed to be there for 7:15. I'd actually been working until about 1:30, 18-hour day, the night before, and was thinking that only being 10 minutes late wasn't bad. When I got my stack of papers for the day, I let out one of those low groans, and said, "You've gotta be shitting me, it was going to be another long day." Boss takes that as his chance to call me out in front of the rest of the office. "Hey, if you're going to show up late and then complain about work, we don't need you around here, you're fired." To know if he thought I would apologize for coming in late and ask to not be fired, but I knew that I could have a new, equally crappy job before the end of the day. So, I called his bluff, and handed over my clipboard and walked away. He must have looked through my work for the day, and realized that he didn't have anyone that could do what I could do, and with the labor market crunch, he just didn't have anybody. On my way out to my car, I stopped and started chatting with my buddy and the dispatcher, having a smoke. Boss comes out and tells me to meet him in his office so we can discuss my attitude. I said, "I'm not going to your office, I just got fired." My buddy and the dispatch are shocked. Buddy says, "You know he pulled 18 hours yesterday, and 15 the day before that." Dispatch says, "Why did you fire him? We've got no one to do his run today." Boss is taken a little aback and says, "I didn't say you're fired, I said you're fired, so here's your route for the day." I say, "Well, if I just got hired, we should talk about my starting wage," and that's how I got a $2 an hour raise. Edit anyone complaining about it only being $2 an hour, starting pay was $9 an hour, plus $1 an hour bonus if you didn't skip a shift, didn't break anything, etc., so $10 an hour as a swamper if you got your bonus. Got bumped to $12 an hour, $11 plus $1, when you started driving truck, and you could get more from there as you worked your way up. I think the top end was $16 or $17, so, for me, as a young guy, getting bumped to $13 plus $1 was a big increase. Also, this was around 2003, 2004, and minimum wage was like $6. Now to the comments. Fired. Worst backpedal ever. I'm surprised that OP even noticed such a smooth save. If OP managed to get fired and a raise in one day, he's probably one smart cookie. It's always nice to see solidarity in the workplace. Your co-workers putting pressure on that bag of dicks must have been a sight to behold. Ah yes, your boss suffers from a common speech impediment, foot-in-the-mouth disease I believe it's called. Luckily there's a cure, boot-in-ass therapy. $. I wonder if fired sounded as stupid to him to say as it sounded to everyone else. Why would he even say he's hired? Haha, just makes no sense. Because the other option was OP leaving the company while the company needed him. From the moment the boss told him he was fired, he had labor to offer. The company had high demand since they just fired a needed employee. Since the demand just increased, he negotiated a higher salary to be hired. I am neither an American nor a capitalist, but OP just showcased all the ideals of capitalism. Driving. 18 hours. What country are you in? Because most of the ones I can think of that's illegal as hell. Sounds just like the job my husband had in EMS, sadly. As a firefighter I work frequent 48-hour shifts. Fired? Well, that means I'm going to be up in my neck in severance paperwork and new hire paperwork. So much for getting anything done today. Shitty life pro tip: when nobody else can handle your workload, show up late every day, make them fire you, then negotiate a raise 10 minutes later. Not trying to brag or put myself on a pedestal, but when I worked retail, I was hands down one of the best workers there. The company's district manager even agreed that I was literally too valuable to get rid of, because I was fast, knew a lot about the company, how to do my job, could easily fill any missing position, could even be temporary lead if necessary, and was friendly enough that most of the return customers knew me and loved talking to me. And the management knew and publicly acknowledged it. Because of this, I had a shit ton of wiggle room. I could take a break 15 minutes longer than normal, be late, and not have any management question it, and flat out disagree with the manager if something was stupid, and on rare occasions, not even do that stupid thing. Being nearly irreplaceable, friendly, and everyone's favorite working partner while simultaneously being paid barely above minimum wage gives you a lot more indirect power than a lot of bad managers know how to handle. I wasn't trying to dispute anyone's worth with my comment, I only said it's a shitty tip because it would work maybe 50% of the time. The other 50% of the time, management will let you walk and burn the rest of your team by stockpiling your work on them. The best way to call someone's bluff is to not actually be bluffing. You don't want my work? Fine. Later. Expertly done, sir. An extra $2 an hour would not be worth it to me to work with a dickbag of a boss like that. With the knowledge of an equally crappy job by the end of the day, I would have told him that. A. My attitude was never an issue whatsoever, seeing as how I have recently done 18 and 15-hour days. B. Fired is about the stupidest ducking thing I have ever heard in my life. C. He could shove that clipboard so far up his ass that he'd be pulling dispatch sheets out of his mouth for a week, then walk away without looking back. You are thinking about it wrong. Take the extra $2 an hour, then go look for a new job. When they ask for your salary history, you've got a better position to bargain from. Plus, the asshole knows that you are prepared to walk at any time, so he's less likely to mess with you anymore. Yup. It's a stupid move on the boss's part because it gives you a lot of power. The downside is that they're likely to start looking for your replacement. I think I am starting to have a problem with authority because I see so many cunts getting positions of authority that go to their heads. There's a theory out there that the reason there are so many shitty managers in the world is because managers rise to the level of their incompetence. Basically, since people are usually promoted as a result of good performance in their current job, as opposed to expected performance in their future job, someone will just keep rising until they reach a level where they can't keep up, and become ineffective. This leads to a stalled career, a burnt-out attitude, and a shitty manager. They call it the Peter Principle. Do your work for Michael Scott. Sure, I'll take the job, if you get down on your hands and knees and literally kiss my ass, you ducking asshole. Congratulations, you're now living in the Jetsons. Boss sounds like a dumb authoritarian asshole. Making people work 18 freaking hours. He should be kissing your dang feet for pulling a shift like that. Only places I know with normal hours like that are war zonies. Man, this is instant karma too. Your boss was a twat, hope that taught him something. Fired. Now that's a brain fart. You better make sure it was $2 and not $2 hairs. I was fired and walked out like that. Nearly doubled my rate not an hour later. Next job made even more. Life is too short to play bullshit power games. About 4 years ago I was fired. Essentially my boss underbid a project, we were running late and out of funds. He decides that it's my fault and I'm sabotaging the company, proceeds to yell at me in front of the 3 people I'm in the middle of training. Okay, if you think I'm trying to bring the company down and can't trust me to do my job, why am I here? So I get fired/quit. Technically I was an independent contractor, more shady stuff, so I wasn't entitled to severance. Keywords, I was in the middle of training some new people, who now have no one to train them. Thanks to some savings I planned on enjoying my 4-week vacation while I was looking for a new job. 3 weeks later I get a call begging asking me to come back. The 3 trainees just quit and literally have no one to do the work. That's how I got $7 an hour raise, medical insurance, and paid overtime. I had a similar situation. I was working at a diner and I was the only one willing to do the front counter. I had to pack up the orders to go, as well as wait on all the old people who would come in and sit for a long time drinking coffee and leave like a 25-cent tip. I didn't mind it. I am always the kind of person who is willing to do the harder jobs if asked to. One day my boss flips out on me because I have not put the napkins in a to-go order yet. I put those on top of the containers so that everything was in the bag in a nice near fashion and no chance of the plastic forks poking a hole in the bag, etc. He flips out and fires me. A week later when I am picking up my last paycheck he told me I can come back to work, because no one wanted to work the counter, and they kept getting complaints from customers. Because stuff kept being left out from the to-go orders, the coffee was always late to be made, etc. Basically, he ducked himself because he wanted shit done his exact way, despite the fact that I did everything perfectly in my own system. I should have told him I would only do it for a pay raise, but I moved on to a new job, earning more and working less, so I would say I ended up with a win.